Ahoy folks, and welcome back to Broadside Gaming with me, Zug. So this is going to be just a quick pseudo guide, more talking about the components than exactly tiering them at all. So as you can see, I haven't quite got everything yet, missing a few little bits here and there. I have the majority of things though. So we're going to talk early to mid game because some people have gotten way past where I am, but a lot of people are still in the early game, so I thought this might be helpful. If it's not, apologies. But we can talk about components, and we'll start with sensors. So as far as I can tell, the two sensors you get here aren't working correctly. Some people say that they are, but I've played with the supply sensor for quite a lot, and I've looked on the forums and Steam and all that sort of thing. People are saying that they can't actually get this to work. So for the moment, I would just stick with the standard one because it only takes up 2 slots instead of 4, and it's in an awkward shape. As for engines, as you can see, I haven't got all of them. I'm still fiddling around and testing them. The mass injector could be useful as it lets you eject fuel pellets as flares for missile evasion, but you can just evade missiles with a sharp turn and a boost, so these ones are slightly better. I'm using the drift for the moment, which is the standard one you get. As you can see, maxed out gives you 120% speed, only 2 boosts, but the boosts do recharge within 5 seconds, and you get 110% turn speed. Now the turn speed is the one thing that keeps me coming back to this one, because even with the nitro pulse, as you can see, that's what it is when it's maxed out. So you get 110% speed, 5 boosts with an 8-second cooldown on each of them, but only an 85% turn speed. And that, it is good, especially with all the boosts, but the turn speed I do find quite useful. So I do keep going back to this one. The fourth slot could be the most amazing engine in the goddamn world, but I haven't got it yet, and we are still talking early to mid game. So the drift phase engine, it's a pretty solid engine, but if you do prefer boosting, the nitro engine, it gives you a lot of boosts. At tier 3 you get 5, and an 8-second cooldown on each one isn't bad. You're going to turn more like a tank and less like a plane. But maxing out the drift engine, it isn't a bad way to go, especially early on. So you don't have to hold out and keep hold of your materia ingots hoping for something better. To be honest, you're going to have thousands of materia ingots by the end of this. So safest bet is the drift phase engine, or you can get the nitro engine, which I think comes from the 3rd zone. So you're not going to get this for a while anyway. So it's pretty decent. Now, pilot cannons. This is going to be very much up to you, but I use the rapid pulse cannon for a lot of the game. It is very, very good, especially when you pair it with the artifact that increases your rate of fire, balanced off of how much materia you have in your tanks at the time. When you have that, this thing's like a machine gun and absolutely amazing. But the fragment cannon is a bit of a sleeper, because it's the first gun you get and it's kind of dull compared to, I don't know, a mining laser or, a bolt accelerator, which is literally just a slower version of the rapid pulse cannon. Maxed out at tier 3 and also buffed up with artifacts, the fragment cannon is actually really, really good still. So it does seem boring, but numbers wise it does do very well. This will be the next thing I bump up to tier 3. But with all of these, I do advise you, test them out for yourself. This is wholly opinion based at the moment, and also just trying to help you not to waste materia ingots super early on. So upgrading this to tier 3 or the rapid pulse cannon, both very good ways to go. At the moment, I think the disruptor laser is far too weak, especially in tier 4 and 5, to really hold its own. It's good if you're going with a zero ammunition run. Like, you can put on the disruptor laser and the mining laser for the multi-turret system and literally have no ammo output on your ship. But your damage output will be incredibly low, which leaves you, more open to taking an unlucky hit. So early on, I would highly suggest either the fragment cannon or the rapid pulse cannon. I'm just not massively impressed by these two. I know they're only at tier 1, but still. I've taken these through like level 1 and 2 missions just to try them out. They just didn't feel great. Next up, we've got the multi-turret systems. I mean, just pick what you want, really. I'm always piloting, so I went with the one that has the most damage. I mean, you will absolutely pour through materia and ammo using the Gatling one, but I find it works the best, especially if you're flying solo and Buddy is using it, because Buddy will sort out your ammo for you as well. As long as you have the materia, Buddy will make the ammo and install the ammo and fire the gun. But the downside to this Gatling turret is it's a 7 power plug in an awkward shape. So if you're using this, you're probably not going to be able to use double lance railguns. But it does work really, really well, and it does absolutely shred ships. So far, the flak turrets and the mining lasers, not massively impressed. I will do more testing on them and obviously read what other people's opinions of them are, because I might not be using them properly. I'm not infallible, so I might be doing something wrong with them. They just don't feel super great. So assault turrets and Gatling turrets, both very good ways to go. The starting gear you actually get on the ship is very good. It just requires upgrading to really make it shine. And then we've got special weapons. Now, I think I said this in the other video, but if you're flying solo, Buddy will not use the burst shield or the targeting module because he's an asshole, and also the AI just isn't programmed for it. So this thing is amazing. The burst shield is absolutely awesome if you're playing in a team, because as you can see, you have an active time of 4.5 seconds, a recharge time of 12 seconds, and it reduces all damage taken by 80%. So during higher level missions, being able to just spam this, it's an absolute godsend. But obviously if you're solo, it's not going to happen because he won't use it. And what the game really needs is, in a solo mode, is for the pilot to be able to control these two modules. But that's not in yet, so we can only work with what we've got. So if you're flying solo, if you can fit it in, take 2 lance rails, you probably won't be able to, especially if you're running something like the Gatling turret and like the rapid pulse cannon. So every time you take something with higher DPS or is more powerful, the power plugs will of course increase in size. So just be aware of that. Next up, we got reactors. Now, in the early game, this isn't going to be much of a problem, but later game, it is. As you can see, there are blue nodes within the green. This is basically telling you these nodes are safe from interference, which can be radiation, solar flares, basically like map modifiers. And what interference does is it can turn bits of your ship off, which is quite dangerous because you can just suddenly not be able to fly or shoot your guns. So obviously later on, the solid state reactor is going to be a lot more useful. Early on, the split reactor, absolutely fine. I'm still using this doing tier 4 missions, and I've not leveled it up to tier 3 because I'm lazy. But each one is kind of more useful in different setups. Now, I haven't gone through all the builds because, again, the game's very new. Things are continuously changing. But different reactors work well with different builds. At the moment, I'm using the split, and it fits the lance rail, the burst shield, Gatling turrets, the fragment cannon, or the rapid pulse cannon, drift phase engine, and the sector scanner. All of that fits really nicely in the split reactor with a tier 3 null tension generator. If you're using big blocked components, the materia scatterer isn't great because you've only got that one block in the middle and lots of holes all over the place, so it makes it more awkward. And I've just not bothered using the other two, to be honest. I haven't had a reason to. The split reactor just seems to be working absolutely fine early to mid game. But again, we will revisit this later on when we've unlocked everything else and tier 3'd everything. But just pretty decent early on. And last but not least, the ox generators. As you can see, I haven't got one of them. The biofusion generator, this one was really good when I was using 2 lance rails, because you can fit the lance rails in and around that. But as I'm using bigger blocky things for my pilot cannon and the gunner seat, the null tension generator tends to fit better because it's in blocked squares instead of a little arch. But as you can see, they're both tier 3 because I do switch between them as I switch between guns. Now, there's one thing that they... Shut up, buddy. There's one thing they don't explain to you. Because you can't see what's in your power plugs on your ship now, you kind of have to guess. But that's not entirely true. Because what you can do is, let's just pick a really low mission. What you can do is you can start your mission, and when you actually get onto it, you think, oh crap, it doesn't fit, what do I do? You don't want to abort, because if you abort, you will lose all of your guns. But what you can do is you can make your components in the assembler. So you can make the actual component plugs on the ship. It does cost materia, but you do start with the materia canister on your ship, and in the first safe zone here there is a gnome on one of those little rocks. I'll just show you. There is a gnome there that you can crush up in the dissembler for materia. So I obviously knew that this stuff was going to fit, but if you have the problem of, oh my plugs don't fit, I've got it wrong, you can literally come straight down here to the assembler and all of your components are here, and you can just make them and plug them in. This is also how you can test stuff during a run. So never fear, it can be altered. Obviously there's the material you start with, and the gnome is floating around one of those things. If you haven't seen it already, I will show it to you.
Check this out.
Ah, he's up there. There you go.
Got your six, as they say.
And he's just there. Send to hold. And he's worth 30 materia. So you can basically double your starting materia. But I did mention this in one of the other videos, so if you've seen that one, you already know about it. But yeah, I mean, as I said, this isn't a tier list about components. This is just a guide on what kind of fits where and what not to waste your ingots on. I mean, if you want to upgrade everything, just upgrade everything, 'cause that's what I'm doing. But it's just a kind of starting out, try and stick with this sort of stuff. If it's been helpful, please do like and subscribe, and we shall see you all for the next one. So until then, take it easy. We shall see you later.